for joining me. I would love to start off with if you could just share with everyone who you are, what your wedding business is, and how you're involved in our industry.
Absolutely. So my name's Teresa Gebbett, and I own the English Country Barn of the Carolinas, based in the middle of nowhere, North Carolina. And I basically built the venue after a walk across the fields one day and said, wouldn't it be fun to build a wedding venue? And so we
How many
did.
years ago was that, Teresa? When did that happen?
2020 during COVID.
Okay.
As you do. I mean, we were stuck at home and nothing else to do, so why not build a venue?
So when you say we, that's you and your husband. You built it from scratch.
We did. We built it from scratch together. We did hire a team of people who know more than us about architecture and rules and regulations. But yeah, we got stuck in, and it was probably the wettest winter we've ever had in North Carolina. So it was a challenge.
And had you been involved in the wedding industry at all before that point? Was there anything to do with weddings in your history?
So prior to that, prior to living in North Carolina, we lived in Kansas and I owned a bakery. And part of the bakery is obviously wedding cakes. So that was as far as it went with the wedding industry, was meeting brides to discuss wedding cake requirements.
And what did you find an unexpected challenge when you first kind of started getting involved with weddings? What was something you could have never have imagined was going to be a challenge?
Well, for us, one of the things was definitely we are not local. And so getting our leg into the area, because there are obviously competition in the area, who people who've been around a long time, and for people to trust us was kind of a challenge, because they thought, what are these upstarts coming into our area and changing everything and turning the land into a building? And so that was definitely a challenge for us. But I guess, I mean, Ian is very charming, and he charms all of our couples when they come, so which is great. You know, we each have our strengths, and that's his.
And what's been something in the industry that you've personally found to be amazing, like really, like, wow, I really enjoy that piece, and again, you perhaps didn't know that was going to be something to do with your day to day?
Yeah, absolutely. And it might sound really corny, but the thing that I get the most joy from is the day after a wedding, when I get the text message saying, best day ever, best people ever, best venue ever. And that's all we strive for. So, I mean, I said to a couple yesterday, actually, I'm going to be dead before we pay off the venue. And so in the meantime, I'm just going to enjoy the journey. And part of that journey for us is that joy of doing exactly what we set out to do each week.
Oh, I love that. I don't think that's corny at all. I used to feel exactly the same. It was the text message after that was everything.
It is literally everything for me. You know, it's worth all. I mean, I'm one big insect bite at the moment, because it's really hot, and that's just what happens in North Carolina. And it's worth all the grass mowing and the preparation and the tours and the ghosting. It's all worth it just to have that text on Sunday morning.
So true. Who has inspired you over your journey with all of this?
You.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, honestly, I talk about you so much to people, and I mentor this, and you know, so for sure. And the community with TNL has really, really helped. And actually, my family inspire me the most, because when we had the bakery, I would come home from work and I'd say, so I've been thinking, and that's my classic thing now. So if I speak to I mean, actually, after you, I've got a meeting with my daughter to do some media advertising. And she's based in England. And so we will have another Zoom meeting. And they are so patient and not sick of me saying, so I'm thinking about, and then coming up with plans. And they're really gracious, and they listen to me. And if I've had a bad day, they listen to that too. So those are my biggest inspirations.
That's amazing that you've got that level of support from family, because I don't think everybody does when they run their own business, and especially in this industry. So I think that's really quite special that you've got that level of support.
Yeah, I'm very lucky, because I'm sure that other people get tired of hearing about the struggles and the bad days. And I mean, we all have them. And I think that my family just roll their eyes and think, oh, here she goes again. It's fine. And obviously, I guess I'm really lucky that my husband is equally involved and patient. And, you know, 6 o'clock in the morning, I may say to him, are you awake? Why? well, I've had a thought. So, and then he has to wake up and listen to my thoughts. So, you know, I am very blessed that we have that degree of support everywhere.
But I also think that you as a person always coming up with those fresh ideas, always looking for a different way, is part of why you are where you are, because so many people get very stuck and they don't want to change the way they think and they don't want to look at a different way. So the fact that you're constantly saying, "Oh, I've been thinking," do you think that plays a part into where you've got to in your life?
100%. I mean, when I owned the bakery, definitely I would come up with new recipes every week and new ideas of something that we could do. And I don't believe in just being satisfied and sitting back. I'm not one to rest on my laurels. I mean, you and I both ride horses, and one of the things that somebody said the other day, I had a lesson, and they said, "Well, surely you know how to ride," because I've been riding my whole life. And actually, yes, of course I know how to ride, but you can always improve. The horse can always improve, the venue can always improve. There's always something new, whether it's just somebody's knocked a chip of paint off the wall and it can be painted, or a new project that can give it. I mean, something that I loathe in the wedding industry is the same photos at a venue when all you see is a different bride with I loathe it. And
Yes.
so one of the goals that I want is that no two weddings have to be the same. They can be unique in their own way, and not just because of florals or a different pretty face, but literally they can have something new and inspirational, and they can create the wedding at our venue that they want rather than that we want.
I love that. And you know, I have a passion about imagery, so I love that you said that too. If there is a wedding pro right now listening to our conversation and they're looking at you and saying, well, oh, it's okay for you, it's easy for you, people just turn up, you know, they book, it's overnight success. What would you say to those people thinking, oh, it's okay for you, and they feel like they're in a different situation?
So I'd laugh and have a large gin and tonic first to calm down. um I mean, honestly, it is, and it's so hard to convey how much blood, sweat, and tears has gone on to our venue. And literally every single day there is work to do. Literally, it's not just to show up and have a wedding and call it good. There is, I mean, for us, we find it very difficult to find help, so we have a cleaner, but other than that, we do all of the lawn maintenance, we do all of the repairs, we do a lot of the building projects ourselves. So it is literally every day. The first thing I do in the morning is, okay, what social media am I doing today? And then I respond to emails and I do all my nurture sequence. And I'm still at the point where, with the number of inquiries we get, because we only do 3-day wedding bookings, so I still do all of my nurture sequence manually, because I feel, for me, that personal touch is important. And honestly, it's, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's not, I mean, when people say, oh, it's okay for you, you're self-employed, or it's okay for you, it's easy and you're making, somebody said to me the other day, oh, you must be raking in the money. And I thought, you have no idea.
It's always so easy to look at everyone else, isn't it, and think it's okay for them. They've got it easy. They've just woken up with all this luck, as people like to say. And of course, nobody knows how much work's going in behind the scenes to get to that place.
No, exactly. I mean, and Ian and I mean, we are very happy with how our lives have progressed. But you know, when we got married, we literally had nothing, with nothing. Everything that we have obtained has been through sheer hard work and innovation. And I mean, people say, "Oh, you're so lucky to live in the United States." You know what? It was, you moved, Kelly. You
Yeah.
lived abroad for a long time, and we upsticked with 3 kids and didn't know anything. And although it's an English speaking country, I would say that there is definitely a language barrier, and there's a barrier between just the thought processes that happen here. And, you know, anybody can do it if they have that motivation, but you have to have the motivation to get up and do it. And I would definitely say there has been no luck
Mm.
involved in what we've done.
I agree. Oh, I couldn't agree with that statement more. So if there is a piece of business advice, if there's a wedding pro listening, what's your kind of favorite or most cherished piece of business advice that you've stumbled across, or we've discussed, or you've learned for yourself? And what would you share with other wedding pros?
So a couple of things really. First and foremost, I had a great mentor when I owned the bakery, and we had a lot of competition in the area, and she said, Teresa, you just do you.
Yeah.
That is, you don't care about what anybody else is doing, providing you are waking up every day and doing the best that you can for you. That's all that matters. So I would say that that's hugely important, not to get bogged down with what anybody else is doing and not copy, and just be true to yourself. And I really believe that. And the other thing that I would say is just keep going. Just believe. If you believe in your product and you believe that you can sit back and say, I did the best I could today, then it will come. But you've got to believe in yourself, and you've got to believe in the product. I'd be proud of the product that you've got.
I love those two pieces. You're absolutely right, especially in the wedding industry, people by people. So by staying in your own lane, doing your own thing, not worrying about your competitors, that feeds into the people who would want to work with you and who feel connected to you will enjoy that journey and that process and buy from you. So I love that, because that, it couldn't be more true, could it, for our industry, where couples are really looking for that person who gets them and they connect with.
Absolutely. And it took me a while, and it actually took a kick up the behind from you to say, believe in your product, and be able to look people clear in the eye with the price that you've set, and be proud of it, and just say that I'm worth that. And that actually for me took quite a lot of self-belief, that yes, I really am worth the knowledge that I have, that your wedding is going to be amazing, and be able to not think, oh my God, am I charging too much?
There's this really interesting thing again with wedding pros, that where it's often us, like you've built your venue is an extension of you. We have this disconnect where we're like, well, it's part of me, so I can't price it correctly. I have to price it lower, or we devalue it for some reason because it's us. And I see that so much in weddings. And so
I,
I'm glad that we've moved
I
forward.
would I would say I definitely think for a venue perspective, it's probably easier than some of the other professionals who are actually selling themselves, because they can see it's material. They can put their hands on my venue and they can see what we have. And although they are buying from us, and as I say, and Ian is terribly charming, so they buy, and people say that that's one of the reasons they book us, is because they believe that we're going to have their back. But I would say that some wedding professionals, it's probably really hard to justify their knowledge, because that knowledge is just amazing.
Yeah. And you're part of our inner circle, T&L. If there are wedding pros thinking about joining us, or they're not sure if it's right for them, what might you say to them?
Oh, do it. Just do it, because it has definitely been so helpful. There's been so many lessons I've learned from the community and from you and Oscar. And I would say that it has definitely helped with my confidence in just believing in our product, what we have. And I would say that the support from the other TNLers and their inside knowledge is amazing. And actually, one of the gals who is in TNL, who is based in South Carolina, we've emailed a couple of times. She has a venue too. And, we talk about when it's slow, and we talk about, things picking up, and we bounce different ideas off each other. And that has been amazing to meet those people, and also to get the insight from other areas of the industry, to see, what does a photographer look for when they come to a venue? Do they want to come, we want vendors to want to come to us. So getting that insight is huge. So I'd say do it. Just do it. It's worth it.
I love that. And I love that our community is so supportive, and that we've never had, in all the years we've been running, we've never had that competitiveness between the community. So I love that, even somebody just, in your area offering a similar, service, and you guys have been able to support one another. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. And actually, the only competition I think I ever have is one of the TNLers is a cyclist. And I'm into cycling and running and all sorts of sport. And I think, oh, she went a long way today, and she's got hills to go up. So, yeah, so that's probably the only competition I really have, because they are so supportive.
Maybe we need to set a little cycling challenge among the members, just on a side note.
Absolutely. Yes. Well, I have to say, for me personally, one of the good things about having my own business is the freedom to then say, I can go for a run and clear my head, or I can go for a bike ride, not up hills. We don't have any hills in North Carolina, but um, so that's one of the biggest benefits of having your own business, is that you can have the freedom to decompress when you need to.
I love that. So Teresa, if people have been listening to our conversation and they're interested to find out more about your venue or you, where can they find you? Which platforms are you mostly on, and what is your handles and names on those platforms?
So I'm on Instagram and Facebook predominantly. I've just set up a Pinterest account, so I'm quite proud of myself for that, because that's just, social media is not my favorite thing to do, but I'm getting to grips with it. So my handle is English Country Barn, or the English Country Barn on Facebook. So
amazing. So English Country Barn on Instagram and the English Country Barn on Facebook.
yes.
All right. Perfect. So they can follow you, they can connect with you, they can send you a direct message if they have questions or they want to have a conversation further with you. Is that okay?
Absolutely, more than happy to, yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing just a little bit of your business journey with us. I've really appreciated your time and loved hearing a little bit more about your story. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks, Kelly.